What's up, you guys? It is your girl Bernisha, and welcome back to my channel. If you are a new viewer, please don't forget to subscribe. And if you are a returning viewer, hey, how are you? So for today's video, you guys are going to see me do a full complete set. That's why this video is 47 minutes and 56 seconds long. It's because it's not being sped up. I want you guys to get a full tutorial of a beginner lash tech. Now let me also make note that this video was done when I first got certified and once I first got into school. I used to practice, as you can see, at home, just in the room. I would turn on music, so I turned the sound off because it was just regular music, but I had music playing. I would set up everything, and I literally would wrap up her head, as you can see, the towel, the headband, the iPads. I literally would treat my mannequin like a person and practice for real. So this whole video is just going to be me doing a full set. These are pre-made fans. As you guys know, my brand is a little more subtle, classy, simple lash looks. So as you can see, I always started out with pre-made fans. I never made a fan a day in my life. Well, let me take that back. I have made a fan. I do know how to make fans. I just prefer to save time. So they already come pre-made. I'd rather get pre-made fans and go about my day. So as you can see, I started with Kuhl. I still use Kuhl to this day. Now, I have started using other brands pre-made fans just to see how they work and if they're better than what I've been using, which is Kuhl, for the last 3 to 4 years. So within the last 2 weeks, I have tried Fad Lash, Fadlash. They are very, very lightweight. They're silky. They give a shiny look. They're dark. I love them. So between Kuhl and Fad Lash, those are my two go-tos for pre-made lashes. I am working on, obviously, as much stuff as I have from my vendor, having my own pre-made fan trays and lashes to sell. But right now, just because I work smart, not hard, I just get them from where I can, quickly and accessible, because I have clients usually on a daily. So as you can see, everything's set up here. I am just, as you can tell, just lashing. I'm properly isolating. I have my glue ring. I have my 2 tweezers. They're brand new. And as I mentioned before, this video is dated back to 2020. This is when I got certified January 2019. So I enrolled in school by April of 2019. I graduated from Paul Mitchell to School of Murfreesboro in October 2020. So this is somewhere around the October 2020 time frame until the end of the year, because I would literally sit in my room and practice lashes. I would sit on the bed and practice. I would have a lash video on the TV so that that's what I was hearing in my background, and I would just practice and practice and practice, like practice and practice and practice. You guys don't understand how much you have to practice in this industry. This only gets easier when you practice. You only get faster with practice. You only get better at doing all of the possible lashes that are healthy by practicing. There's a lot more other things, tips and tricks that you learn and that you discover by practicing. So please, like, don't underestimate the fact that you have to practice daily when you start out, because it's a hand mechanism thing. Once your hand gets used to the mechanism, it's something that's automatic. When you first start out, especially if you don't work with your hands a lot, you're going to be new to trying to get your fingers to work with the way that you want them to work. But if you've worked with your hands before, maybe worked in a warehouse or something like that, then you understand that repetition will help. So that's my advice in that area. Now, when I'm doing trainings, when I'm having a lash class or a lash training, I make sure to let the girls know that practicing on your mannequin is nothing like actually doing a real set on an actual human. So, like, let me be the one to say it, that if someone told you that it's the same, it's not. Because you have your own actual flesh, everyone's eye shape and everything about their face, everyone's is different. There isn't one single person that's the same. So every time that you get a client, you're going to see how you have to navigate and how you have to change per client when it comes to taping down your eye pads and putting the tape on top. to how you have to position maybe their head. It's just so many other different things that you have to take into consideration. On the mannequin, when I'm training, I tell people, have at it on the mannequin. Have at it on the mannequin so that you can realize either you're getting out the bad habits, or you're making yourself aware of what you are doing wrong, if that makes sense. A lot of people put pressure on the mannequin. Well, that's fine to start out, but I need you to know that when you get on someone's face, you're not going to be able to put your pressure down. You're going to have to work light with your fingers, not your hands. So I'm saying that to say that this looks very easy because, it's easier to isolate. The person's not moving, talking, or anything. It's literally, a mannequin. It doesn't do anything. So the process of this is easier. To challenge yourself more when you are practicing, if you put 2 strips on top of each other, layer them, that will give you a more complex practice lash, so that it gives you a more real life feel of someone's lashes, because the strip lashes, they're so perfect. They're straight up and down, and they're by each other. Like, you can literally count when you're practicing. When on a human, you probably could, but it's going to take you a minute. You have little baby hairs, you have anagen size hairs, you have catagen, intelligent. Those are the 3 stages of hair growth. So on the actual person, you have hair in every different stage of growth. On your practice strip, you got 1 size. So even if you master your practice strip within an hour, within 30 minutes, that does not mean that you have mastered it just in general. The practice is good, but it's not the same from your mannequin to the person. Practice on your mannequin so that you can do this practice strip with no problem and with ease and with 30 minutes. That's expected because there's no complications with the mannequin or the strip lash. Once you get to your person, that is when you kind of take, all of this into consideration and actually time yourself and things like that. So I don't want anyone to be misled that practicing on the mannequin is absolutely great, but it is not the same as doing an actual human's lashes. It's completely different. But in order to get the practice, because a lot of people, you hear, I don't have friends, I don't have family, no one will support me. Bet, I feel you. I know 100%. I was in school. I had to go out and get people to come in so I could do my services so that I could pass school. So I 100% understand when people don't have friends, they're too shy to open up, to post, or whatever the case may be. If that's you, then that's fine. Your mannequin is going to be your best friend then. You're going to have to be creative enough to come up with ways to make it more challenging and make it more real life and human-like to practice, so that you can get a better feel of practice on a human. Me, I took clients right away. I'm not someone that's shy or, anything like that. I've been on social media. I've been using social media for my business and just anything. So the moment that I got certified and I was able to buy my lash bed, my ring light, and my stool, I immediately started taking clients. So honestly, I feel like that's recommended, but everyone's not like that. Everyone learns different. So I teach based off how you learn, but I would recommend just getting out there. The more beginner people that you do, the easier that the journey is going to be. The more that you hold off, not trying to actually do someone because you're afraid, because you're scared, or whatever the case may be, it's going to take you 4 hours. Yeah, let them know that. I let them know that. My first 4 or 5 people, I'm a beginner. You guys know that, it may take me a while. If you cannot stay here the entire time, that's perfectly fine. I will take them off, or if you want me to leave on what I've done, I will leave them on, and you will pay me, and then you'll go about your day. They understood that. They knew that. They knew what they were getting into. It wasn't any complications. I didn't do bad business because I made it aware of what was going on. So as long as you communicate with people, you'll more than likely have a better turnout than you think when it comes to starting out and taking first-time clients or doing your first set of lashes. My first person was my sister. The next one was my mom. And then I reached out to the public, and I got a couple girls. We knew of each other. We didn't know each other like that, but we knew of each other, and they were willing to support me and to try lash extensions for the first times for themselves. So it was a win-win when I first started. So I'm not going to talk the whole video, but I did want to make sure that you guys know throughout this entire tutorial, the most important part of the lash extension process is going to be the isolation and the placement. Everything else is important, but you have to isolate correctly so that you are not damaging your person's natural lashes. And the reason why that's important is because a lot of people have myths going around that lash extensions damage your natural lashes. They only damage your natural lashes if your lash tech is not isolating properly. If your lash tech is not placing one fan or one individual lash per your natural lash, then they are doing it incorrectly. Cluster lashes, cluster lashes or tab lashes is, think of a strip lash, a lash strip. Think that you cut it up into 3 or 5 sections. That is considered cluster lashes. I can put some glue on either the top of my lash line or the bottom of my lash line and then put those pieces, line them up along my lash line. That's clusters. I don't have to isolate. I don't have to separate any of my natural lashes to put on a strip lash or cluster lashes. Lash extensions, let me be very clear for those that are getting this mixed up and putting false information out about the lash tech business or lash extensions. Lash extensions do not harm your natural lashes if the lash tech is isolating properly. Isolating means that my tweezers only has one strand of hair in the middle of it, and I am placing a fake lash, a synthetic lash, whatever type of lash, onto that one single lash. It is going to make the natural lash longer, darker, and tighter in the curl. That is the purpose of lash extensions. That is how it's supposed to play out. I always relate lash extensions to acrylic nails because everyone doesn't, I feel like they don't understand the concept. When you get an acrylic nail, that person is cleaning your nail, they're taking care of your natural nail, and then they're applying an extra, whatever it is, acrylic. It's acrylic. They're applying acrylic onto your nail to extend your nail. If you want longer nails, they'll make it long. If you want shorter nails, they'll make it shorter. Whatever your desires, they'll do that. Overall, once your nails are complete, once your nails grow out, you'll see that your natural nail from the nail bed, you'll see your nail growing. That's exactly how your eyelash extension should grow. Your natural lash should still be growing on its own at whatever natural growth stage it's in. The extension should just grow right along with it. When you come in for a fill-in, we will determine whether that lash needs to be taken off or whether it can still have some growing room and we'll just leave it alone. Taking it off will not mean that we are taking out the natural lash. There are ways to remove lash extensions that also do not harm the natural lashes. So I'm saying all of this to say that this is not a harmful process. It does not hurt. It should not hurt. If it is hurting in any form, and that goes from as simple as putting on the eye pads or the tape, it shouldn't be irritating. It shouldn't be itchy. It shouldn't be anything. Like my clients walk into my beauty room and they literally are prepared to take a nap. You know what I'm saying? That's how comfortable they are. That's how pampering and relaxing lash extensions are. There's no pain involved. The only thing is, I know laying idle for 2 hours can kind of be, but for most times, but it's just like a 2-hour nap to them. You know what I'm saying? Most of the time it's a 2-hour nap. So all in all, please make sure that you are isolating correctly. That is the biggest and the most important thing that you need to make sure that you master when you are practicing on your lashes. Placement and isolation. Placement and isolation. Isolation and placement are very, very important. As a beginner, you should not be using fast drying glue. 1 to 2 second glue is too fast for you. By the time that you dip and get to where you're about to go, the glue has already dried. Any beginner, you need anywhere between a 2 and 3 second glue or a 3 and 4 second glue. Make sure that you're paying attention to that because that will also discourage you and make you feel like you're not doing something right when you are starting out because they're not sticking. And they're not sticking because it had already dried. It dried way too fast than how you're moving. 3 to 4 second glue is honestly ideal. Just because as a beginner, as you can see, I like to pick and play and make sure that it's set on there correctly. You see how I'm pushing and pushing. As a beginner, you do stuff like that because you're just making sure. But you have to give yourself drying time as well. So as a beginner, get a slower drying glue and just make sure you guys practice. Yeah, I'm 15 minutes in on voice recording. I will speed up the rest of the video, or honestly, no, I'm not going to speed it up. I'm going to let this be a long video, and I'm going to let y'all see me do this from the start to the finish. I only did one side, and then I will show you guys at the end up close and personal how it looks. But this is literally how you practice. This is literally how you do lash extensions. This is going to be a volume set, a pre-made volume set. If you master classic lash extensions, you can also do volume lashes. I did not take a different training. When I became certified, I took one lash class. She taught technically both of them. However, I didn't take any additional training to learn more about volume. I just started using pre-mates because, like I said earlier, it saves time. I'm not about to make a fan and then freaking dip it in glue, wait for it to dry, and then no. That's way too much, y'all. It's what I want to pick up the lash, dip it, slide it, and boom, we're there. So that is going to be all for me, you guys. Thank you so much for listening to my amazing voice for the last 15 minutes. Feel free to continue watching. You have like 30 more minutes of this video of me completing the one set over here. And if you guys want, follow me on Instagram at bernisha.renee. Follow B's Beauty Bar LLC on Instagram. We also have a Facebook page. Go ahead and like that page. Turn on any notifications on any of these platforms so that you're notified of any new retail products, the new website that'll be launching, specials, and all type of things. And thank you guys for being loyal, joining the Beehive, and y'all have an amazing day. I'll see you guys in the next long video.